This abusive man was an only child, growing up loved but overprotected. He always received praise for being a nice guy, but had no discipline for uncontrollable bouts of rage and anger. He was protected from restraint or repercussion at school because his parents would pressure his teachers, and he dropped out of sports intolerant of direction. His marriages failed because whenever he felt criticized, he would fly into a rage, and gradually the emotional abuse became physical, with divorce to follow. When it was time to care for his elderly and dependent parents, he was again abusive. The parents were reluctant to confront him or call for help because they felt responsible and were terrified of his rage and physical threat, and worse, feared he would ignore them. There are many theories for why people abuse others. Psychologists say that every case is different and every abuser is driven by a different monster. Carrie Askin, a clinical social worker and author who has had extensive experience with abuser patients, says that abusers most commonly become that way because they never learned to tolerate criticism and retaliate when they hear it. She states that often abusers learn from their youth that she or he is entitled not to hear criticism, has the right to punish anyone who violates that right, and can do so without expecting repercussion. Isn't it a paradox that the most common reason for abuse happens because the abuser didn't experience fair discipline as a child? If one is to improve as a person, then people must learn to take constructive criticism very early in life. Those who haven't accepted this life lesson and who respond to every disapproval with anger and retribution eventually live an isolated, ignorant, and unfulfilled life as people run from them when they come near. There are other reasons why people become abusers. Some who have never known kindness and were abused themselves become abusive almost in self-defense. They were taught by example that abuse is normal and deserved. About 1/3 of the children raised in this kind of environment become abusive adults. This means, however, that 2 out of 3 raised in a family with abuse do not become abusive. Bottom line, abuse should never be tolerated. Children, spouses, and the elderly should be able to trust the people around them and live in a safe environment. Abused people should call for help from their physician, minister, social services, or even police.